Meryl Streep, the woman who lived 100 lives and carried pain through every one. She's been called the greatest actress of our time. An Oscar record breaker, the conscience of Hollywood, a master of her craft. But behind the flawless image lies a deeper, more tragic story of a woman who learned too well how to hide her wounds. Meryl Streep is not just an actress. She is an era. But even eras cast shadows. When Meryl first entered the world of film, one producer bluntly told her, "You're not pretty enough for the movies." She didn't break down. She moved forward and became the woman whose presence made even the toughest directors tremble. Because she didn't act with her face, she acted with her soul. She studied at Yale, lived in a cockroach-infested dorm, waitress to survive. She never imagined her name would become legendary. Her first big break came with The Deer Hunter. She starred alongside her fiancé, John Cazale. Her first great love, and her first great loss. Cazale was dying of lung cancer. He was only 42. Meryl stayed by his side until the very end. After his death, she could barely eat, couldn't sleep. She barely spoke. She fainted from grief and exhaustion. That was the moment she could have disappeared from acting, from life, from everything. But she didn't. She survived. And she kept going with a wounded heart and a pain that never fully healed. Meryl Streep went on to have 4 children, all with her second husband, sculptor Don Gummer. They were together for over 40 years. But she once admitted, "You can't be a perfect mother and a great actress at the same time." She filmed 3 or 4 movies a year. She was rarely home. Sometimes she would call her children from the set and whisper, "Just tell me how your day was. I just want to hear your voices." She carried guilt always. But she also knew without work she wouldn't survive. Not just financially, but emotionally. Despite her success, Meryl always struggled with self-doubt. In one interview she said, "Every time I walk onto a set, I think they're going to fire me." She battled anxiety, locked herself in dressing rooms for hours before shooting. Sometimes cried in front of the mirror, convinced she wasn't enough. This from the woman the entire world placed on a pedestal. In 2023, the media was stunned to learn that Meryl and Don Gummer had quietly separated years earlier. No drama, no press releases, just quiet distance. For many, it was a shock. They were seen as one of Hollywood's strongest couples. But Meryl confessed, "As the years go by, you don't always walk side by side. Sometimes you walk in different directions. And it's important to let each other go." Now in her 70s, she's once again on her own. She shares little about her pain. Just that wise, tired smile we see in her later roles, the one that hides 1,000 stories. Meryl Streep never embraced glamour. She never had plastic surgery. She never chased likes or followers. Unlike so many stars, she never feared aging. And in that lies her strength. In 2017, she became a leading voice in the fight against abuse in Hollywood. Her name stood alongside the #MeToo movement. She was respected and criticized. For her silence. For not being louder sooner. She endured backlash. They called her a hypocrite. And she simply said, "I'm afraid too, but I can't stay silent anymore." Today, Meryl Streep is more than a performer. She's a voice for generations. A woman who proved that strength and vulnerability can live in the same body. That you can remain yourself in a world full of masks. Her life reads like a novel. Full of pain, loss, triumph, solitude. But most of all, it is the story of someone who never betrayed who she was. Yes, she's lived 100 lives on screen. But the most important one was off camera. And in that one, she gave her most powerful performance. No script, no makeup, no second takes.